Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dan Blanchard with Travel in Time. And I'm right here in the New London, Groton area of Connecticut at Fort Griswold. You might be able to see some of the cannons right over there. Behind me right there, those big mounds, that's where the fort was. You can see as I spin around, Fort Griswold right there. Now there's an amazing story that took place here with an amazing man that Connecticut loved and then grew to hate, the famous traitor Benedict Arnold. He was born in Norwich, Connecticut, and when he joined the army, he quickly rose. The bravery, the intelligence, so courageous, so successful. He was Washington's right-hand man, one of his best generals ever. Right? He had so much success. The Fort Ticonderoga, he took it from the best military in the world, the English. Right over there, on my shoulder, you can see the water there. Right? He got the cannons to Washington in Boston so he could scare the British out of Boston. Right? Later on, he was the hero of the Connecticut Battle of Ridgefield. Right? He was the hero, the turning point of the war, of the Battle of Saratoga. I mean, he was the hero of that. That's where the French came in. This guy was doing everything right. He totally would have won the Quebec battle if the British hadn't been reinforced over in Quebec, right? But this guy was doing everything right. And then he marries Peggy, who's a loyalist. Peggy is a loyalist, and she's whispering in her ear that the Americans don't really appreciate you. He'd been passed over for a few promotions, and this had really angered him, and that the British would honor him. All right, eventually, he's in debt, he owes a lot of money, and he starts talking to the British with some of his wife and friends and her family's encouragement, and he gets offered a lot of money to start working with the British. All right, and he takes the job at West Point. He weakens West Point so the British can attack West Point and succeed, and then he's found out. Washington must have been devastated. I wonder if Washington cried that night, going, oh my gosh, my right-hand man, Benedict Arnold, stabbed me in the back. Oh, that must have been terrible. And he ran off to the British, right, where they actually demoted him. They gave him a 1-star brigadier general position instead of the 2-star major general position that he had with the Americans. All right. Now, I wonder what Peggy thought about that. Right? The Americans don't respect you. The British will respect you. They demoted the guy, right? But things are going to get worse, right? He is going to invade this area right here that you're seeing in the background. Right here, he's going to invade this Groton, London area. He's going to win the battle here at Fort Griswold. Right before this, he actually takes out Fort Trumbull, which is down the road. Burns New London to the ground. Colonel Ledyard's here. He surrenders, and the British drive his own sword right through him. And then the massacre happens right here, where they kill all the colonist soldiers here after the surrender. This really makes the Connecticut people hate Benedict Arnold. They call him the traitor. Oh, they so despise him for this, right? And Benedict Arnold, after that, nothing really good ever comes for Benedict Arnold after that. He had such a promising future, and he threw it away with spying for the British and then working for the British. It was terrible. And so what are the leadership lessons here? Well, I would say one of the leadership lessons is, maybe don't marry the enemy. That could be definitely a leadership lesson. Be careful who's whispering in your ear or who has your ear. Who are you listening to? That's important, right? Who you're listening to. All right. Good leaders, try not to go into debt. Because if you go into debt, then you become very vulnerable to something that you don't want to do. All right? Benedict Arnold gave everything. But in many days when you give everything, it's not appreciated. All right? And sometimes you lose everything. But a good leader will find a way to keep going instead of jumping ship and joining the other side. All right? Now listen, Benedict Arnold, believe it or not, isn't 100% at fault here. All right? The government did underappreciate him. The government did pass him over. I mean, sadly, he had that personality whether you either loved him or hated him, and some people really hated him and, passed him over on purpose. All right? But the government has a role here as well. All right? You gotta show your people they're appreciated or they may walk. And then if you got some stars there, you definitely got to make sure your stars are appreciated so they don't walk. All right? And the government didn't do that. The military didn't really do that. Break it down to everyday life. Okay, if you're a business owner and you got employees working for you, if you don't show them that you appreciate them, they will walk. And if you don't show your stars that you appreciate them, they will walk. And you don't want to lose the stars. You definitely don't want to lose the stars. All right? So those are your leadership lessons. Really appreciate you spending some time with me here on the Travel and Time Show, where I mix some travel. And if you haven't traveled, you get to this place, you should come down here to this New London, Groton area. But definitely where we mix some travel, some history, and some leadership lessons with me, Dan Blanchard, of course. Next week, we're going to be checking out Gillette Castle together. So next week's going to be great. Can't wait to see you again here on Travel in Time with Dan Blanchard. Take care, all.